Hello, hello. Clearly new at this. First episode that I'm trying. My name's Lexi, also known as the Bumbling Butterfly. Just bumbling through life. My life is very, chaotic right now. Lots of transitions. I got laid off. My parents are selling my childhood home. So I'm just kind of figuring everything out. Feel like I'm kind of going, through a mental health transition as well, just kind of sorting through everything. So come with me, the raw and unfiltered footage of my midlife crisis in progress. I could not sleep and was really bored, so this is the result of that.
Here's a song to get to know about me. I'll start with my name, my age, my height, my gender identity, and my favorite game. This is where I live now, and this is where I'm from. Here's what I do for work, and what I hope to become. Here's a guilty pleasure and a pet peeve, and something I like, a goal that I hope one day to achieve. And can I ride a bike? My favorite place I've been to, and a place I want to go. My favorite time of year, and my favorite TV show. Here's a random fact you might not guess. Surprise! A thing that brings me joy and brings me stress. I really try to avoid that. I have this many siblings, that's the size of my shoe. And I hope you'll use this song to let everybody get to know you.
I really do feel like I'm bumbling through life. You would think at 38, at least from society's perspective, you're supposed to have things down pat. You're supposed to be married, have kids, I don't know, whatever. Even, that might be an old way of looking at it, but there's still a lot of social pressure. And I don't have any of that. And on top of that, I got laid off from my job. And I'm just trying to really find balance in my life. So part of me is really excited to make things new and redefine things in my life. But it's also very stressful. And these are the goals that I have set for myself for the next foreseeable future. So let me fill you in. Goal 1 is work-life balance. I just interviewed for a teaching job, and anyone who teaches knows that there's a lot of outside of school stuff you have to do. And at the last full-time teaching job I had, I really sucked, if I'm being honest, finding work-life balance. I stressed myself out. I chose really odd times to try to do my grading, and I just spread myself too thin. So on the eve of potentially starting a new job, I am really trying to figure out a way to get some work-life balance and fit in all the social stuff and other hobbies and things like that I like to do, while also doing a really good job at my teaching. So that's definitely my first goal. Goal 2 is a general healthy, balanced mindset, and in everything from moving more to eating healthier, things like that. And I know there's a lot of controversy around this. I am not one of those people that wants to get skinny by society's standards. I want to be healthy by my own standards. And I'm on Weight Watchers, which I know is also controversial to some people. They teach balance, and I've met some of my best friends in Weight Watchers. So it is definitely not fat phobic like a lot of people think. I'll do an episode on that. But I just want to find balance in general, just like work-life balance. I want to find a balance between being, having fun and living life, but also trying to be as healthy as I can, in many ways. Moving more, being physically healthy, and not because other people tell me to, because I just want to be as healthy as I can. Goal 3 is to get back to my roots, which is a love for writing. I came out to LA for film school. I went to a screenplay writing program. It wasn't a full degree, it was just a program, a certificate program. But I just love writing. My entire life and who I am now came because of writing. I'll probably do an episode explaining how that happened. But it really helped me get through some of the darkest times in my life. And I just have been so focused on trying to adult well that I've lost I haven't lost my passion. I've lost the connection to my passion. I still have a passion for it, but I want to get back to that root. So I definitely want to find time to do that as well. And again, connected to work-life balance, I want to balance that with everything else. So, yeah. Number 4 of my major goals is stand-up comedy, sort of. I there's a little cafe that I go to in Los Feliz, which I'm sure I probably said that wrong. Boston person saying it, but it is stand-up. Well, I guess not stand-up. It's storytelling, and I kind of put a stand-up routine on it because I tell about all the really funny times that I've fallen. I've done it a couple times, and I'm actually going to stitch one of my. The first time I ever did it, I didn't think I was actually going to do it. I was just going to see what it's like, and I did it. It filled me with confidence, so I actually really want to try to do that again. I've been told I'm really good at telling stories, so that is definitely a goal of mine now, too.
Yeah.
Actually, part of my story, how clumsy I am. So I'm Lexi, and as you can see, I have like a zero coordination. I face planted off of the stage at church. I've fallen off of parade floats. You know, I've history of very funny, weird ways of injuring myself. And it's like a diagnosable problem. I've, done therapy for it when I was a kid and things like that. So, I know why I'm clumsy, but and I'm going to tell you one of the stories of literally almost dying on a mountain. So, I don't know if people have gone hiking at the Griffith Park Observatory, right? Really nice flat trails you can do. We chose not to do these. Not the best choice when you're not, have zero balance. And we decided to do regular trails going down. Then we found this trail. Turned out not to be a trail, but we found an opening in some part of the mountain and decided to try to climb up it. Turned out it was a water, like where the water runs off. Not really meant for humans. And so we decided to try to climb up it. We're successful. The first time we did it, cool. We decided we want to do it again, try to beat our time. My best friend Jesse, and he's also just as clumsy as me, so not the best pair, I guess. But so there's a drought. We don't do it for a while. He moves away. He comes back. He's like, "Let's do it this time." It's been drought. Droughts tend to erode things, tend to change mountain landscapes, and for context, I should say, it's literally straight up the mountain. Like you have to climb up trees and balance on things. And there's this one section that has a dip. You get to a flat point and then there's a dip. And there's a tree with a branch. Has always held both of our weights, but it goes much faster if you just swing over the dip. Okay? So, again, for context, we tricked my sister into doing this hike with us. She had never done a hike like this. So Jesse has her firmly planted on a rock at the next section of the hike. He comes back down to help me. So she's watching this. He's like, "Okay, cool, let's grab this stick branch," right? Now, like I said, it's held our weight every time we've done it. The drought had dried the soil around the base of the tree. And most people are like, "Oh, the branch snapped." No, the entire tree uprooted. And Jesse was holding me up. So I fell onto him. He likes to say that I rode him down the mountain like a surfboard because I was wrapped around him. My sister was at the top going, "Shit, shit, shit, my sister's gonna die." The trees cascading down behind us. We're like, "Oh my god, we're gonna fall off the mountain." Like freaking Tarzan, I grabbed grass, fling us to the side. The tree rushes by us, flies off the mountain. We hear it land like 100 feet down. And I'm just like, what do we do? I'm like holding Jesse with my legs, holding him like, what do I do? And literally, I don't know why I had this reaction, but as it was happening, you would think I'd be like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die." I was just like, wee, like, sliding down, and my sister was like, "Oh, you alive down there?" Like, yeah, it was definitely interesting. And I actually weirdly didn't even get injured. Like I had some bruises. So not one of the worst injuries I've gotten, but definitely one of the more wild stories. And coming back up, the really funny part was they don't expect people to be on that trail. So when you get to the top, it's fenced off. So we're like covered from head to toe in dirt. People are like, "Are you okay?" Like we don't even look human. We're like completely covered in mud. We're like, "Okay, we, um, you can walk down a little bit to go around the fence." But this really nice father and son were like, "Here, we'll just help you climb up on the stone. We'll help you over the fence." Well, my pants got stuck on the top of the fence, and I tumbled off, and my underwear was showing. So the dad was like, "Oh, we're wearing blue today," and the son's like, "You can't comment on someone's underwear, Dad." And I was like, "Okay, thank you." After so I was like, walk home holding my pants together. But yeah, that was one of the many times I've almost, literally almost killed myself. That time I literally almost died falling off the mountain. So. Hey, so this is Jesse, my fellow hamster. More on the nickname later. We'll discuss that in a few minutes. But yes, we're obsessed with hamsters, so he's my fellow hamster. And we'll also discuss nicknames because we have specific nicknames for each other. But he's a major reason for my kind of who I am today. I've already discussed my goals and kind of what I want to do in my life, and I feel like a lot of my goals that I have kind of come from, well, he's been in every aspect of my life in LA. And we don't actually live in the same state now, hence why we're doing this on Zoom as opposed to hanging out. Um but we've lived in many different like opposite ends. I've been in Boston, he's been in California. I've been in California, he's been in Oregon, or no, not Idaho. You were in Tulsa, right? I
Oklahoma.
mean, you're from Idaho, but you were in Tulsa and I was in California. So we've been in many different states at different times, but we've pretty much talked for like hours every day. Like it's weird. We like think we died if we don't talk like every day. I literally, if I don't talk to you after like 24 hours, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like
Is he
like,
dead?
yeah, like he's like hasn't responded, right? Um, but we met when I first, literally, like when I talk about my anniversary, which is July 1st, I'm moving to California. Um, this past July 1st was 2025. So my 14-year anniversary, 13,
For being in
14
California?
years. Yeah, for being in California. She was 14 years. And I think I did that math right. And pretty much like 3 days after I moved to California, I met Jesse at the hot tub of um I was in a film school program and they housed me in what it used to be Oakwood apartments, but I don't know what they're called now, across the street from where the school was. And he was my hot tub buddy. Um, so that's how we met. I will say my first impression of you, and then you can tell me your first impression of me because I think that's really part of where our relationship starts, is the impressions we had of each other. Um, I definitely immediately was like, my new gay BFF, which I know freaked you out because we have like opposite personalities. It's kind of a defining trait of our friendship. Um, so definitely goes into how we met. What was your first impression? Like when you first met me, what was your first impression of me?
You were probably the bubbliest person I'd ever come across. And at first, I was like, I need to escape. Because you know me, I'm pretty,
Kind of a hermit.
yeah. So you were pretty shocking at first.
Okay. And you always like to say that you almost made a decision about a friendship after like a week of knowing me.
Yeah, I I was totally gonna just phase you out because you were too exhausting.
That's funny.
But here we are now, like,
I clawed my way back in, as you like to say. 14 years later, we're still friends. I
yeah,
really couldn't, I 100% could not think of my life without you. Like, I feel like even living in a different state, I still feel like you know. But I will say, so we're like completely opposite. And I remember one of the first times after like hanging out at the pool and the hot tub and stuff like that. One of the first times we hung out was I made breakfast for you. I invited you over for breakfast. So, speaking of first impressions, um, what was your impression of my cooking? I mean, I know the answer, but what was your impression of my cooking skills and what did that make you think of me? I think this is a funny story.
cooking skills. What skills?
Well,
No,
yeah.
you. I had never seen anybody fry sausage links in oil before, so I was ready to duck and cover. That grease was flying.
Yeah. I had not cooked that much, which is sort of another defining feature of a friendship. I feel like that was the moment you found out some facts about me, I guess you can say. And another reason that I think friendship is so interesting is we're very different. If we're being very authentic, like I'm trying to be in these episodes, Jesse comes from a very different background than I do. And I think probably one of the reasons I also freaked him out and was like over the top bubbly and things like that was we just had very different upbringings and sort of attitudes towards things in general and how we dealt with things. If I'm being completely honest, I came from a much more privileged background. So Jesse soon found out I didn't know how to cook, I didn't know how to clean, I didn't pretty much know how to do any adulting skills at all. And Jesse was like my tutor of how to adult, how to grocery shop on a budget, how to anything. So I've changed a lot since then. But that's one of the things we like I feel like we both kind of brought out good sides of each other. Like he's kind of drawn me in a little bit and made me more of a sensible adult, and I've drawn him out a little bit and made him a little more people person-y.
Yeah, if I had my druthers, I'd still just live in my room and never leave, though.
But I feel like anytime you're with me, I'm like, let's go do this and let's go do that. I feel like you're very active when you're with me, and then when you're home, you're like, hermit, video games.
Yeah, video games and puppy.
Yeah. And to just get it out there in the open, also your job, which would you like to explain what your job is? Because I feel like that's going to come up at some point. So,
Well, I do OnlyFans.
yeah. So you also are kind of a hermit because you don't have to leave your apartment to do your job.
Yeah,
So it kind of fits into your persona. Because everyone's like, if he's a hermit and an introvert, how does he do OnlyFans? And I'm like, he's literally by himself. Like he doesn't have to leave, right? Like, yeah, it's a little overwhelming to him to like have people like stalk him online and stuff. But like,
I get asked that a lot, and because people are like, "Well, if you're so shy, like, why are you putting your body out there on the internet? Like, how are you doing that if you're shy?"
yeah.
And there's different kinds of being shy. I'm not shy about my
I think
body. I'm
you're
shy
shy
about
about like people skills shy. Like you're
yeah,
shy about like not knowing how to interact one on one with people.
yeah. I'm shy about people, not my body. So I'm fine, like,
And
straight
I'm
naked.
just like every other aspect of us, I'm the opposite. I'm not like ashamed of being a big person, but I'm not flaunting my body like you do, not like in a bad way, but that's literally your job to flaunt your body. I don't flaunt my body, but so I'm in that sense, I'm more introverted. Like I don't, wear bikinis and stuff, but not that I'm ashamed of it. I just, am a little more conscious of that. But which you are definitely not. I've seen your bathing suits. And it's not a bad thing. It's just it is what it is. I also remember us flashing people when you accidentally wore a see-through one.
Yeah. I have more now that are see-through, but I know they're see-through now.
So you don't wear them in public places, I hope, just like for videos.
Yeah.
Okay, as long
Well,
as it's like you don't want to get like arrested at a public
one
beach.
of them is mesh, but you can't see anything, and I wear that one out.
Okay, well, as long as you don't physically see, you obviously like with small bathing suits, you see the shapes of things, but as long as you don't see like you can see like the coloration of things and stuff.
No,
It mentioned that we have nicknames and we have, things that we have a lot of inside jokes. So off and on in conversations, we'll just have random inside jokes that we mention. So we'll have to tell people the stories behind some of them. There's too many to tell at once, but one of them is hamsters, which, we've already mentioned, always comes up in conversations. Um, would you like to tell the story of where the name hamster came from? I feel like a lot of our inside jokes come from this topic.
you tell it better.
Okay, so we were looking, not because I like full, I mean, I guess I was maybe thinking of wearing wigs, but I wanted
You
to do
were,
something with
because you
my
were
hair.
like, I'm
I
gonna
was like, I
shave
want to shave
my
my
head.
head, which I did kind of shave my head, and it's grown in, but I was actually considering then too, shaving my head and wearing wigs. And so we found a wig shop that you can like pay like a buck or two and you can like try on a million wigs. And we were driving home. This was also the time that you attacked me with water.
It was.
So first, this was a very interesting car ride because we literally after this we had to pull over because it was like two things in sequence really close, and we had to pull over because I was laughing so hard I like couldn't see. So we had to pull into a parking lot and just laughed for like half an hour. But first, he was like he guzzles. What is the brand of the water that you drink? The big water bottles?
Smart water.
Yeah. So he guzzles those. So we had one, and he's like, we're talking, and he's like dancing and being weird with his bottle, and he's like, wouldn't it be funny if I just like I like water bombed you and like it went in your face, and he like pretended to do it, but the top popped off, and he actually just like emptied the bottle. And what the crazy thing was that I was driving over like a highway bridge, and almost drove off the road, and I was like, what the hell?
You
And
almost died.
swearing, and I'm like, what happened? And yeah, so that happens. And then we were driving a little ways up the road. And mind you, this is like a week into us meeting. So this is like our relationship. This is how crazy our relationship is because this was literally like within the first couple of weeks of us meeting. Very telling of our relationship.
Yeah, no wonder our friendship has turned into a string of
Like
near-death.
weird shit, yeah. Um, so we literally come off this highway ramp and we are at a stoplight and I folded. Okay. And I he just goes, was that a hamster? And I was like, what? Like, I didn't even think he heard it. It wasn't like a big one, it was a small one.
It was a
And
squid.
I didn't even think he heard it. But he just goes, was that a hamster? And I go, what? I'm like, how does my phone sound like a hamster? And then we laughed so hard. I literally had to pull over so we wouldn't die. And so then after that, hamsters just like became our thing, like everything was hamster. And you know how like when you sign off and you'll be like, at least for millennials, they have like BFF or BFFL or something like that, like this is my BFF. What we say is HFL, which is hamsters for life. So like we'll sign off messages like we'll like pose and be like HFL and things like that, and pose for selfies, and like that'll be like a hashtag, and it's become a thing. And we're actually also getting tattoos, which I think are very telling of our relationship. Of we're each getting a hamster, and then they're wearing skeleton onesies. Mine is pink with white bones. His is black with white bones. He'll have bat wings. I'll have butterfly wings because I'm obsessed with butterflies. More on that later. I have a whole thing about going to talk about why that's a thing for me. But um,
We have a very, very rough draft of what it will look like.
yes. And then they'll be holding balloons with each other's nicknames. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Something, yeah, definitely along those lines. And then they'll be holding balloons and we'll each have each other's nicknames. So Would you like to tell them how I got my nickname? Because you are the one that sort of created my nickname. So my nickname is
Well,
Fatty.
originally, I can't. You have to.
Why?
Oh my God.
No, so
So
okay, so you
originally, what happened was we were going through a grocery store and I was pushing the cart.
Oh no, no, no. That happened after when you called me Fatty. You had already come up with a nickname. It was the misunderstanding of how the nickname came to be.
I
Remember?
thought that was all intertwined.
Well, then later that day, you then called me Fatty because we thought it was funny.
Yeah.
But we were in the
But while we
parking
were,
lot. We were in the parking lot of the grocery store,
oh, well,
and we had just eaten burritos, and you said, "I feel fat," and I thought you called me fat. And I was
oh,
like,
right.
excuse me? Like, who says that? Like, that's such an asshole thing to say. Why would you say that? Even though, like, we do, like, make fun of each other. Like, I call you scrawny all the time or green bean. But, like, like, the way you said it, you sounded so serious. I, like, thought you were calling me fat. And you were like, what are you talking about? And it was just like a complete, we're going over each other's heads. And then we just were like, oh, cool, like that's my nickname, Fatty. And so then you literally will just pick up and be like, hey, Fatty, on the phone or like whatever. But then cut
Well, then
to
I
we
did
go
do
into the grocery
public.
store.
I did that in public.
Yeah.
And that was the last time I did that in public.
Well, you have to tell the grocery store story because that's really funny.
There, I was pushing that cart and I think we were in Walmart. I don't remember, but um, you were walking in front of me and I was kind of like, bumping you with the cart and I was like, move, fatty. And the woman next to us that was walking alongside was just like, what? What did you call her? Like she was really offended for you. And
Yeah,
we had
I mean,
to
honestly, if
explain.
I didn't know the context, I probably would be offended if I heard that from someone else too. So good
Yeah,
for her for standing up for me, but it is really funny context. And you're like, no, 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 I promise, it's a nickname.
yeah, like I should have just, I don't know, probably not said that in public,
Yeah.
but
And so Jesse's nickname, funny story. So, we talked about him doing OnlyFans, and so he not like using it or whatever. I don't, that's weird. I don't like look at any of his stuff just because, he's like brotherly to me, so like it's weird to like like no, I'm
that
good.
would be weird.
But so he wasn't like sending me using it. We're very open. We talk about very detailed descriptions of things. We have no boundaries. So he sent me a photo of a toy he bought to use in a video, and it was a butt. Like a fake butt. I think it gets like suctioned to a table or something, and it's a fake butt or something like that, right? And he wanted to, and like I didn't really know what he meant. Like I was like, "What? Like does it actually look like a butt?" And so he sent me like a GIF of him like spanking it and slapping it to show me like the texture of the butt. And so when I saw his hand, I feel like a normal person's response would be something towards the butt, like, "Oh, that's funny," like blah blah blah. No, my response, because again, this shows you how weird a relationship was, "Oh my God, your hands look like the crypt keeper."
Like, thank you.
And what's funny is that like I feel like both of so now that's his nickname is Crypt Keeper. So we'll literally like sign off of text messages and be like Fatty and the Crypt Keeper, and like people will hear us call each other that and think that like won't know how to respond because they think we're making fun of each other, which I think is funny.
No, we kind of are a little
Yeah.
bit.
Um. So yeah. So that's definitely a very interesting nickname. People 100% think we're like being cruel to each other. And I guess in a sarcastic way, we kind of are, but like I said, we have no boundaries. So, um, and I think my family's just used to that at this point, like hearing weird stuff we say to each other because I've already told them what our nicknames are and stuff like that. And so, and they know, I don't remember if I told them what the photo was that I saw your hand in, but they know about your online content, but they still think it's funny that that's your nickname.
Like most people know about my online
Yeah,
life now.
yeah, I'm sure. Um, but yeah, so Hamster's kind of communal mascot nickname, and then I'm Fatty. He's the crypt keeper, so you know, that's us.
Here's
Fatty
my
the crypt
crypt
keeper.
keeper hands.
And my fat sausage hands, Fatty. I am a huge fan of quote, so and I also love butterflies, hence my nickname for this show. But to close out everything, the mantra that I'd like to leave you with, quote of the day, is sometimes it's the caterpillar's darkest day and then they become a butterfly. See you next time. Thank you. Like and subscribe for more episodes. Tell. Come with me. I never actually know where to look when I do this, but I am the bumbling butterfly. Come with me on a midlife. Goal number 3 is. I forgot what goal number 3 was. My favorite place. Toodles.